Well, hey team, we are going to work on some more Spelljammer combat and exploration art today. Give me a second here to check my signal. I'll go through my intro, and then we'll get to work here for about 100 minutes. Mic check, mic check, mic check, 3, mic check. Yeah, sounds like I'm coming through A-OK, no problems. Let's drop this out of the way. I'm going to press some buttons here in the background to upload stuff, like to the Spelljammer Reddit subcommunity, as well as to Twitter and wherever else it is that we end up landing, across the Discord. I'm going to have a Discord channel up as a Christmas gift to myself, so you can keep an eye out for that after the holiday. I'll have my week of downtime, and I will set up a space for us to be able to have conversations about what we have going on. So if you want to keep an eye out for that, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications, and I will post a video that I have a Discord now. So, but in the meantime, if you're here in the future and you've heard my intro before, you can go ahead and skip past it. Hi, future. For anyone else that's around, hey, my name is Theurgy. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. I have been focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition for the past 5 years. There are a slew of links in the description down below that will take you to various books I've already published on DMsGuild. They've got generous previews, so you can check the stuff out. If you're here for artwork, there's probably about 150 illustrations amongst the books that are just down below. If you do a search for my name as an artist on DMsGuild, I'm in about 100 different books at this point, so you can check out my stock art, and thanks a lot to everybody's support of the work that I do. Let's see, let's move this out of the way. Boop. There we go. I just posted to the subreddit, Spelljammer Combat and Exploration. If you want to hang out with me at the our subreddit, you are certainly most welcome to do so. It's a great channel. There's a lot of neat stuff that's going on in here. Twitter, I just posted to Twitter, so if you're on the Twitter X platform, you can follow me at Theurgy, where I post when I'm live, as well as artwork, look-sees, and different article content that I've produced, mainly in support of Spelljammer, but also for Eberron and Magic the Gathering D&D conversions. And then, most importantly, if you don't mind, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications of when I am live. I stream 6 days a week and post content on Sundays. We're at 259 subscribers. Thanks a lot. We've really had a big boost in the past week, and it's really kind of folks to take an interest in what we're doing. If you want to see more of the work that I've done on this project, here's the full playlist here. You can click through on that. For example, this book cover we created back in episode 15, so you can jump to the Wayback list and go check out the production there. So what do I say? We create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and publish them online. So I DM Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I run through a campaign of level 1 to 20 in about 200 to 250 hours, and then we start over with a new campaign. The things that I build, like the stuff down below, are tools that developed over the course of a campaign, or that I developed specifically so I could run a certain type of campaign. And Spelljammer would be the latter. That when Spelljammer got published, I was excited about running it in 5e. It didn't have the mechanical depth that I wanted, so we had to we had to do a deep dive into how 5e works and start creating mechanics for ourselves to be able to have the type of ship rolls, the kind of combat, the kind of exploration, and like point crawls that we wanted to have in Spelljammer, similar to what existed already in 5e. So we had to build those tools. After testing it, it came back good, so we did the text. We hired an editor. The editor wordsmiths it for us. Once we get the text back, we drop it into, I use MS Word because it's easy and a lot of people have access to it. So if you're interested in building role-playing games or supplements, this is generally the process that goes on behind it as a creative. Once we have the text back, we break up the chunks. The text, we chunk it into digestible pieces that can fit onto pages. And all these gaps that you see in the text are where we put illustrations, charts, tables, graphs, diagrams, whatever is needed. We then extract this as a PDF document that we come into Photoshop with, and we drop it in here, and then we can illustrate on it. And so we'll continue our illustration today that we've been working on. Once the illustrations are all done, we can peel back and create. We can then drop them into the document. Here's a couple sample images that I'm in the process of putting together inside the document. This is talking about fleet mechanics, which I'm going to spend time with you guys on Saturday during my live stream. My Saturday workbench on Saturday mornings is when I work on whatever projects I want, and I want to integrate text. I need to build descriptor text inside of this document to describe how squadrons can group together to attack. So we'll be focusing on that concept on Saturday, and so you can see how I integrate text along with the images into the document to be able to basically build layouts. So, but this is how it looks when we drop them in. As you can see, it looks like a page. So, yeah, so that's how the process works. Right now, we are, again, working on the mounted ranged weapons. And so we're going to continue that illustration today. I will be starting a new piece on Monday. We're going to see how far we can get today and tomorrow. I'm probably going to work on this some tonight off screen, and put in the mounted weapon, the mounted harpoon flinger there. Once this piece, yeah. So we'll spend some time on it today. On tomorrow, I'll spend some time on it tonight. Whatever we don't finish on stream, probably like background stuff or details, just some detail work. I'll continue hammering this stuff out separately, and we'll have a new piece that we'll work on Monday. This is, by the way, for those that are keeping score, this is these 2 pages here are the last pages that I need to. These are the last diagrams that I need to resolve for the combat chapter. There's 106 pages here, and the first 80 of them are mechanics for combat and exploration. And then the back 25 pages is an appendix. The first appendix is a random system generator, so that you can, build wild space systems on the fly. Enjoy. But then the second appendix is a 25-page conversion guide for the Light of Xeraxis adventure that published with the Spelljammer's Adventures in Space that Wizards of the Coast published in August 2022. They created Light of Xeraxis as a showcase adventure to highlight how you can use Spelljammer as an adventure or a base of a campaign, and it is notoriously thin on, again, all the mechanics and details that you need to be able to effectively run a campaign. So this book is providing those deeper mechanics and then demonstrating how they can be used in the Light of Xeraxis adventure, showcasing their showcase. So again, if you think this stuff is cool, stick around. I'm going to get to work. So we were building out this guy last time we were here. I'm going to conceal the weapons so we can see where we're at, and I'm just going to get back to work. So we're doing detail work here right now. So yeah, we just got to detail these crew members or team members. And then we'll detail the weapons, and then we'll drop in some details in the background here. You can see there's a structure looming in the darkness back here that will probably pull forward to shorten the deck, just to intensify the detail a little bit, just to limit the scope of the scene. Oops, I'm using my chisel there. Let's drop this in here, and we'll drop this here. Just carve this thing into place. I'm just basically sculpting ink right now by using one of the smudge tools that we developed. Yeah, I'm really excited. We finally have all of the, this Saturday, like I was talking about earlier, this Saturday will be the last day that we need to work on the mechanic, the rules section of the document. So I will officially, once like I said, I'll be working on this piece off screen tonight. But my off-screen activities involving this book from now on is going to be working through the layouts and revising the text in the Light as Araxis conversion guide. So we already have all the I mean, we've ran playtesting for the conversions that we have, and those turned out well. Now it's just a matter of getting the text to fit on the page in an aesthetically pleasing format to match the same level of quality that we've been able to achieve with the document overall. So that is I've been spending all this time in the background doing all the diagrams and movement mechanics, stuff like that. It's not nearly as exciting to watch as actual painting is. I have found so I don't do. I have to get the thing done, so I can't do absolutely everything on screen. Although if I were to do a Kickstarter project and we were to successfully fund, part of the deal would be to do as much visual assets and production on screen with you guys as reasonably possible. And by reasonably possible, it's like, is this something, like, am I doing something new, or am I just doing iterations? So I don't necessarily need to stream iteration if it's just like over and over again. Like if it's production work, like assembly. I'll show off assembly occasionally. I will show you the assembly process occasionally with what I'm doing, like on this Saturday with the diagrams that we'll be building for the fleet for the squadron combat mechanics. I will be doing that just so you guys can see how that process works, how we mix graphic design with page layouts with artwork to be able to build a cohesive document. That's part of the process. So I think that's valuable to share. One of the intentions of this channel overall is to demonstrate like all the different skill sets and the processes of actually building a role-playing game PDF or a supplement, whatever it is, whatever it is that you're doing. If you've ever been inspired but don't really know all the different components and all the depth of creating a pretty good looking product, that's what we're attempting to present here over and over and over again with the Spelljammer project, with the Martial Powers project, with the Elemental Key project that we did before, the Eberron adventure that we do artwork for Mondays and Thursday nights. By the way, stay tuned because later on tonight, in about probably in about 13 hours, maybe a little less, we'll see. I'll continue working on the monster tokens for the Eberron adventure that we've been streaming. And once this project is done, the Spelljammer project that we're working on currently, once this is completed, we'll be doing the Eberron project in the mornings, and in the evenings we'll be doing other projects like the Martial Powers project, the color mana conversion, spell point sorcerers, as well as the mecha expansion for this Spelljammer product that we have, because doing mecha and like Escaflowne or Neon Genesis or Gundam Valkyrie, Jaegers, whatever your preferred flavor of mecha is, we are able to provide very straightforward, easy to use mechanics to be able to fulfill that fantasy. And then we can start doing things like really diving into Bigby presents Might of the Small Giants. We'll instead create Mighty Giants. Bigby's Wish for Mighty Giants. We will have a supplement there where your characters are in mecha suits fighting giants, hand to hand. Like if you wanted characters to have, so here's a quick tangent for players that want to have oversized swords and want to deal extra dice of damage with those swords. What you need is a giant. You need a giant-sized mecha to wield giant-sized weapons to deal giant-sized damage like you want. And that may or may not be the fantasy that you want, but if you're scaling up your creatures to match the scale of weapons that you're using, you're going to do okay. And by having a mecha suit that has a budget of additional, the word I am attempting to use is additional hit point capacities so that you can survive these bigger hits at lower levels. Again, having a mecha suit that provides you that extra level of security and defense and damage budget is an easy solution if you have mechanics that can accommodate it. So what do? We create mechanics to accommodate different power fantasies or different stories. Like we're just about done. Timer. We're just about done with our heist mechanics. And we're going to be integrating some of those into the Martial Powers playtest that we'll be hosting from level 3 to 7 in a Westmarch style campaign in the Ravnica setting. So if you're interested in Ravnica, Color Mana, the Martial Powers project, heist missions, or just seeing how I run games, you are invited to participate in the Martial Powers playtest, and I am building a Discord channel for that playtest, as well as to consolidate information about the Spelljammer project that we are creating here right now. Hold on, let's see, how important is this? Slightly important. I need to make sure I get this right. Big shout out to the Dice Try community. You can see that in the Martial Powers playtest document that I stream during lunches. Like last time I streamed was Tuesday, so you can go check out my channel here on YouTube at Phil Kearney to see the most recent updates for the Robo Belt campaign that we're developing as a DM. You can see the shout out to the Dice Try channel there if you're interested in more Magic the Gathering theory crafting, as it were. Narrative theory crafting, I think, is probably the best way to describe his channel. This thing's off balance. I need to... This needs to curve out like this. So the detail doesn't actually need to be that great because it's actually a very, very small figure on the page. I'm doing a ridiculous amount of detail for the lack of size that there is, but this is late stage development. When I fall into a project, I'm attempting to curve the amount of detail that I'm packing into the space that I'm working with, but as the project goes on, I get more and more compelled to add more and more detail and quality to a piece. And that eventually breaks, and then I start to try to shortcut. So this is me attempting to curve my my consistency issue, and you can see that. Honestly, you can see that in the Martial Powers, not the Martial Powers, in the Color Mana Spell Point Variant Rules collection. Some of the pieces in there are really good pieces. Others are you can tell that I was in a rush. So in 2024, Wizards of the Coast is updating the rules for Dungeons and Dragons. And that is a great excuse for me to go back and update those documents with what the new tech is that Wizards rolls out. And for us to go back and revisit and polish some of the pieces, clean up the my page layout skills have advanced since I first created those books. So there's an opportunity here for me to basically glow up a lot of the works that I had done previously which I am very much looking forward to doing, integrating Strixhaven and Theros along with Ravnica into the documents. And if we see more MTG settings come out in the future, we'll be able to build little tear out documents. Like if they decide to do Zendikar, for example, we can build a Zendikar document to show how to integrate color mechanics, the color mana mechanics that we have developed into the Zendikar settings specifically. And until we see what that book is, we won't know necessarily what it is that we need to spin to properly build off of what Wizards does, which is why it typically this is a footnote here. The reason why it takes me so long to come to market with the pieces that I build is because I don't. The work that I do is largely mechanical. I create new mechanical systems that are meant to curve into and complement the things that Wizards produces. So I can't really create a document beforehand because I don't know what Wizards is doing until they publish it. So I think I need to grab his face here like this. Perfect. Perfect. Whoop, whoop. Oi to the vey. I told you 2 days ago that when I started diving in on, when I first started approaching this character, that I was rushing to the details, that I hadn't fully fleshed out the mechanical bits in the line art. And this is that coming around to bite me in the ass as anticipated. It felt right to move forward, so I did, despite myself. I knew that I didn't have enough. The line art wasn't strong enough to move forward to doing this, but there was no reason for me to stay on the line art and perfect it because this isn't the token. When I create tokens, I like to have a good black and white version of it for people that want to print tokens at the table. To have like for example, when this book publishes, there's going to be a zip file with like 80 tokens in it. And there's going to be black and white versions as well as color versions. And the black and white versions are going to be on a tiled sheet, like an 8.5 by 11 with a bunch of 1-inch tokens that can fit inside the grid, a map grid, right? Because you have the ChessX map boards and whatever have 1-inch grids on them for miniature combat. So by printing out a page full of 1-inch line art tokens, it makes it really easy for somebody to just go through with a laser printer and just burn off those images onto a single or maybe 2 pages, and probably 2, maybe 3 pages, depending on the size of the things. And they're obviously is like the Umber Hulk, for example, is a large size creature, so that'll occupy a 2x2 space on the page, and then I can have 1, 2, 3, 4 medium-sized creatures or small-sized creatures adjacent to it, and that would take up the 1, 2, 3, 4 half the page, and then the rest of the page can be filled up with. I can just fill up the page with tokens, and then have like 2 or 3 pages, and then have individual color files for people that want to have them on virtual tabletop. So anyway, So the tokens, like I said, so the tokens are black and white and in color. And since this is just an illustration, I don't need to have a token for him. It wouldn't make. I mean, I could tear out a token, but that wasn't the plan. So I'm not using that token workflow process. Like you'll see that token process on tonight when I do the Eberron monster tokens. I'm going through that very process right now. With a bunch of undead and plant creatures. So if you want to see that process, obviously like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can get notifications tonight when I'm live. Otherwise, you might miss it. And of course, once this project's done, we'll be doing similar work in the future. Yeah, in the mornings for the Eberron project instead. I got Post Malone in my head. Was watching Spider-Verse the other day. It has that Sunflower by Post Malone, and that's such a great song, and it's such great flavor for that show, for that movie. I'm not a comic book fan. I used to when I was in my teen years and I was just getting into taking art seriously. I ravenously consumed Marvel comics, X-Men comics specifically, for the just for the posing and how they built characters and the line art involved with it. Like comics were a really great source of art, like easy access art for a kid. For a couple bucks, I could buy 20 some odd pages of artwork and study composition and how they like how lips work and how eyes work and all that other stuff. And but that was about as extensive as in Lobo. I was just a general fan of the Lobo DC comic. The only DC comics I ever gave a damn about were Lobo. Because the main man is awesome. The Last Zarnian. That is definitely worth your time checking out. Lobo's classic, man. He is culturally offensive, but the character is amazing, and the stories are just outlandish. It's great. It's very much like mixed Wolverine and Deadpool. And that gives you Lobo. I think actually Lobo was a response to Deadpool. Or was Deadpool a response to Lobo? I honestly don't know what the order of creation was. I just know that they were... I think they had similar origin times when they were... when comics were attempting to take themselves less seriously and explore breaking the fourth wall. Yeah, I hate this guy's hair. There. Much better. We'll come out and get the texture right on this later. right now I'm just trying to fill in the space a little bit. Have this line that's running down the side here. It is a graphic element of my OBS board, but it feels like a pole that I can. Stick my tongue to. Sorry, I'm being silly. Oops. Let's, yeah, there we go. Let's bring that in a touch. Nice. That feels pretty good. I can leave that be. Beep. Nice. Boom, boom, boom. And I'll adjust this handle here to fit his grip. That'll be easy enough to do. In the meantime, yeah, we can fill this this area in with chainmail, and chain links are easy to do. They're just basically dots. At this level of resolution, they're basically just dots. Let's fill in. As I understand, these little plates here are designed to be clips that you'd be able to hook a lance onto if you were riding. So I don't think they have much practical value outside of that role. They aren't critical structurally for armor in general, but I like them. I like the idea of like clipping shields to it, or just using it as like a bandolier, like a utility. Yeah, like a utility clip. Can I say clip more often? Clip, 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 clip. And this arm is going to be concealed by the weapon altogether, so I really don't need to worry about it too much. Right now, I'm just working on symmetry. I need to make sure that this buckle isn't facing the camera too much. The perspective will be bad. Very dirty. Very, very dirty art. I mean dirty as in like unclean. I mean sketchy. I spy with my eyes something that is person. Hey, what's up? Hey, Zona, how you doing? Yes, you're right. Yeah, it'd be good for like a badge or identification. You're absolutely right. Like you could take a you could just take a piece of fabric and place it over like Smile Guild or whatever. Absolutely correct, sir. Great point. How you doing? I am excited, man. We have a very realistic shot that this is going to be done in January. By God, that's the excitement is rising. Super looking forward to having this thing out there. There's so much I can do with this. Like that's why I say about everything that I build, and it's true. And God willing, one of these days I'm going to run out of big projects so I can start doing all the little projects that go along with it. I mean, Color Mana is probably the furthest along in that process because we have all those little tear outs that are part of the bundle. But that bundling, if, anyone that's not familiar already, if you check in the links down below to the Color Mana Spell Point Variant Rule bundle that I have, that is an example of my thought process on building stuff. Like the core mechanics is a 75-page basically like a flagship for using color mana in D&D in general. And then there's like the Knights and Tricksters, Spell Point Warlocks, Elemental Key, as well, and then the Redux, the Universal Spell Point Redux. These are like 6 books in the set altogether. That takes the core mechanics of what color mana is, and then does iterations, expansions, and tangent thoughts about it that all become coupons and support documents to back up the main core product, which is the core mechanics book. Similarly, we'll be able to do the same with the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book. Because there's mecha combat we want to do. There is a Lithid combat. There's Nyogi combat. There are the different types of hex crawl stuff that we can do. We can do a Dwarven Citadel dungeon. We can do asteroid mining operations. We can do a little tear out about commerce trade. If you want to support, like if you want to make the background, the lifestyle. If you want to make maintaining a lifestyle a non-issue altogether and just flatline it, then you can assign a downtime activity of shipping commerce back and forth between communities. We can build out a chart for that. We can fold Spelljammer into Planescape to have Planejammer, and then develop further the color pools mechanics. We can flesh out the Fightercraft mechanics that we have, and then reverse engineer back into Descent into Avernus to have the Mad Max convoy combat, which was the original intention for the mechanic for the vehicle mechanics that we were developing when Spelljammer came out in the first place. So there's a lot of little incidental stuff that we can add on to our line of Spelljammer books once it's done. Shit, we can even go in through and convert all the old content using the mechanics that we have here, like the second edition stuff, like Skull and Crossbones and Lost Ships. And I know that somebody on DMsGuild has been converting the second edition adventures into general 5e mechanics with what Wizards offers, but again, that's the fleet, the squadron, the scaling mechanics that we use. I think we'd be able to express those stories in unique ways, so I can add that to the menu if I find myself wanting for content. Warforged, talking Eberron some more, I've had on my wish list a book of Warforged mecha and automated enemies. One of the campaigns that I ran was during Cypher, actually, was a Warforged Reclamation campaign where one of the characters was playing a Warforged themselves, and the goal of the campaign was to liberate like AI Warforged bunkers that that didn't get the message that the war was over and was still combat ready, that were threatening the areas around them, because they were still running war programs. And with the last war ending, they became a threat to the communities that were attempting to convert their swords to plowshare swords to plowshares, plow stones, plow. Anyway, whatever that expression is, they were attempting to integrate into a peaceful environment, but these warforged didn't know that the war was over, so they were still acting as hostile forces to the communities that were attempting to populate an area within their assigned patrol route. So the team either needed to go in and eliminate them, and once the warforged knew what was going on and what the circumstances was, like, well, we can't just kill these guys. We need to enlighten them and rescue them and protect them from prosecution. They don't, like, we can't kill them. That would be wrong. So let's liberate them and retrain them and add them as a resource to our team. So they were going into these automated bunkers. There's this idea of docents, right? A docent is basically an artificial intelligence that a warforged could plug into their chest, and or into the side of their head, and when they put them in, they would have access to like additional skills or a new feat, whatever it is that the docent would provide. But a lot of the docents were actually sentient, and so like if they gave you, like if they had like the knowledge skill, it's not that your character has the knowledge skill, it has an AI entity that knows all of this stuff about the subject matter of whatever that knowledge skill is, or like if it had like the diplomacy skill, it would be a diplomat AI that you would drop into your machine that would be able to channel through your warforged to speak on your warforged's behalf. This is all stuff that was in 3E, and there are docents in 5E, but it's not developed like that. And so I wanted to create a document. Now, the way that we ran the campaign was that if you're a warforged character, you're not the suit, you're not the body, you're the AI. There's a docent embedded in the head of each warforged that bonds the soul or element of whatever creature it is that's actually animating the suit. And you could pop the hood and extract that little AI chunk and then drop it into another machine. And then you'd have, like, if you wanted to fight giants as a warforged, you would pull your AI out of your skull and then drop it into like a huge or gargantuan sized construct, and then that becomes your new body. So the real people were just a tiny little docent that could be extracted, and unless you destroy the docent, your character is technically never dead. So that was a really fun campaign. But when we moved to 5E, I was just DMing Cypher at the time. I was only an artist. I wasn't actually a content creator at the time. So now that I've really gotten into content creation, now this is something that's like, I could really build a badass document out of that. But I don't have any mechanical tools to reinforce it. So I had to create the martial power system that we stream during lunch times, and I needed to build out a vehicle mecha combat system. And it just so happens that this Spelljammer document fills that void. And so once we have this published, we can go in, we can build mecha, and then from mecha and martial powers, we can build Warforged, Reforged. So I think Reforged is actually a title that's been used before, so I'll have to find a unique, neat title. But that's the path. Like these are how I make things fold into each other. And once we build out that mecha book, then like if Kaldheim becomes a thing, that's one of the Magic the Gathering settings. So like if Wizards ever decided, like if they ever for some reason decided to do Kaldheim of all things as their next publication, we would have a lot of different resources on DMsGuild already that can then be curved together, because the dwarves in Kaldheim, they had dwarven mecha suits. So it wasn't. It was just some stray artifact items. It was never an emphasis on the game, but they have Magitech mecha. So that's inspiring. But these are ideas. These are all things that we can build that are like hyper-focused examples of things you can do with D&D or just 5e in general if you had the proper mechanics in place to express those things. And so most of the work that I do is attempting to introduce these type of mechanics into the system using established 5e rules so that there's no learning curve. It's just, you just got to grok what we do, and then you can just play with it any way that you want. Which is a big critique that I have of a lot of third-party content creators that attempt to introduce like airship mechanics or mass combat mechanics or whatever it is that they're doing. Almost all of these different people aren't actually interested in 5e or D&D. They want to do their own thing, and a lot of these organizations kind of piggyback on 5e because 5e is popular and you'll sell stuff. So that is me taking a non-specific dig at a lot of third-party content creators, especially if they're like YouTube personalities first and then get into mechanics design. A lot of these people don't really seem to care about 5e at all, which is me talking myself up, because like I specifically, if you like playing D&D and you want to use 5e mechanics, I don't want you to stop playing Dragonlance so you can go play Warriors of Krynn as your substitute for mass combat. I'm so disappointed in Wizards. Apparently it took them 2 years to develop and produce the Warriors of Krynn board game, and now it's on the junk pile. It's like it's in like wholesale discount because no one bought it, because no one wants to spend $80 on a fucking board game when all they really wanted to do was just play D&D and Dragonlance. Again, it's them not doing the proper research for them to know, is this even something that's going to be marketable? I think there's a huge disconnect there. But obviously, it took me a year to build mass combat rules that work at any level, from dungeon crawling with a squad to thousands of people in an army. We've play tested it thoroughly. I just paused that project because Spelljammer came out. So once that's off, that's probably going to be my first actual 5e Kickstarter. Depending on what D&D 2024 does, we may be developing out that command system to be a creative content contribution. Creative content community license, I think is the official term. Creative Commons? No, it's at Creative Commons. Anyway, I can build stuff and publish it via Creative Commons to add it to the general lexicon of how 5e mechanics can be adapted for different styles of play. Like our heist system for 5e is coming along very, very nicely, and we'll have an opportunity to lean into that a little bit with the Martial Powers Hexcrawl or Ravnica Rumble Belt campaign that we're building. Pretty excited. But again, it's you have to, like, you can tell what people's intents are by the way that they design. Like I've been saying, that my intent is to make D&D as flexible as first edition was by reintroducing those mechanics, but using actual 5e mechanics to do it, and to keep the mechanics simple enough that once you understand how they work, you can just riff off it. You can just build your own stuff with it, which is what good rules are. Good rules encourage rulings and homebrew and riffing. Like the Spelljammer, the reason people feel that the Spelljammer system or the Spelljammer box set is incomplete, because it's really difficult to extract from what they gave us consistent rules to then be able to riff and create your own rulings with. What's an example? Like Ravnica was an okay box, was an okay adventure setting, because they provided enough mechanics about the guild's backgrounds, how to build characters, that you can make the game feel like Ravnica. I obviously dived deeper with it by developing an alternate spell point system for 5e that introduces and utilizes color as an identity, magic system, and resource. But that's the luxury I have as a couture designer, that I don't have a stock, I don't have a stock market and a board of directors demanding results within a certain time frame. I can be allowed to cook as long as I need to cook to be able to produce the results that I want with the hopes that people will understand what I'm doing and will reward me on the back end by purchasing the thing. But even if they don't, it becomes a resource that's available for reference to be able to build other tools with, and then it eventually gains steam. So, like the spell point stuff I've been talking about, the color mana stuff. That's all like within like 30 sales of being a gold bestseller on DMsGuild, which is like the top. I think the top 3% of books that are on DMsGuild are gold status or better, which means that they've sold more than 500 copies, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the Magic the Gathering audience is a very, very small subset of D&D enthusiasts. So that I've had so many people take interest in and want to actually spend money in support of what that project is very rewarding, that and very very promising, that the stuff that I'm building is like actually has, you know, value. So anyway, yada 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 yada, ramble. I'm apparently in business ramble. I'm going to stop that now and see what the next tangent is that fires up. Yeah, to having said all of that, my point was, where am I gun at? Good. The point is that once this is completed, I have the ability to start producing other content that expands on and supports this, that'll fold into the larger body of work that we've created. And once we know what Wizards wants to do with, with us third-party producers, if we're worth their time or not, or maybe they'll decide who gets to win or lose by inviting people onto D&D Beyond to publish stuff. I don't have any. I have aspirations, but no assumptions that I would ever be included in that mix. I think I punch up too much at the corporate overlord, and I think the stuff that I focus my attention on doesn't have enough mainstream appeal to ever be something that Wizards would truly want to invest in. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Battle Bib. There. Cool, we can be done with that. Let's go down here. Which is probably why I need to go into Kickstarters, which is why I'm trying to build an audience, so that if I got enough people that are kicking around that like my stuff, if I do a Kickstarter, I'll be able to afford to take the time to do all of this process on screen for people that are backers. I love doing this. Doing this, what we're doing literally right now, building these books, building ideas. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna trim this down a little bit. Keep that powder from actually getting in the way of doing work. There. Just shade that in there. Let's just clean up along back here. chainmail. Super quick, super easy. I spy with my eyes something that is text. Hold on. I'll catch up with you in a second. There. Huh? Oh, thanks. I think I'm missing some of my text. Hold on, let me rearrange my window here. Whoop. There we go. Spelljammer and Amir. Oh, right on. You've seen the mass combat mechanics that I use. I know that I have them. I know I have a link to them on my Patreon that leads to the playtest document that we built last year. It's still super rough, but it's incredibly effective. It's this Spelljammer document. The ship mechanics that we built have fleshed out and are going to help simplify. I think a lot of the troop movement ideas that we have that are in that book. It works as is, but it's still real rough and ready, you know. So it'll probably the armies in command of Army Guild and Kingdom will probably end up being a Kickstarter project, and it probably won't happen until 2026. I got to rearrange my chair. But oops, I need to restart my fire. Hold on, step away from the screen for a minute because I've got a fire that's going here. And I'm just about to run out of wood, so I want to get a new log on the block before the fire burns itself out. There we go. Let's keep that going. That's a good piece of tinsel. Keep that going. Hold on. I just set up about maybe something I can do. Man, that'd be fun. I would love to at some point build, get my stuff set up so that I have a second camera that focuses on my fireplace in the wintertime, so you can just see the fire that's burning, and like when I toss on new logs and stuff. I just think that that'd just be a silly, fun thing to do. But I aspire at some point to like have something that points at the environment or whatever. I don't know. I'm just thinking about the future. Yeah, hopefully between this, the Eberron adventure, the rebuilding and expanding the Color Mana Spell Point variant rules, doing all that stuff here on stream, I'm hoping in the next 2 years I will accumulate enough folks that are interested in what I do, so that if I start doing Kickstarters in 2026, I'll be able to sell a couple hundred copies of it, and help prepay for the amount of time it'll take to end up doing all the art. Because of course, you know, all the stuff that I do is out there for folks to look at and to make use of. And if I can just accumulate enough people that are fucking around with it with me, then I might have a real shot of making this a full-time gig. Maybe like in 6 years, maybe build a retirement plan out of this. Who knows? Who knows where I'll go? I just know that I've got a lot of stuff I want to do, and I need to be full-time to get it all done before I die. We'll see. Use them. Good. Oh, fucking A, dude. Right on. Invested heavily in Cleave. Right on. Well, my guy, you know, if you have any questions or stuff anytime, be welcome to ping at me. I'm gonna have on the 26th, December 26th, right after the holiday. My gift to myself this year is to set up a Discord channel. I already have a Discord channel set up. I am not sharing the link. I'm just letting it sit so that I can be comfortable with it existing. So that when I start sending out official invites to people on Tuesday, 26th, I'll feel ready to have people. I'll be ready to receive anyone that happens to show up. So at that point, I can start a more formal conversation with folks about what I have in the works, what you can see, organize playtesting a little bit better for the stuff that I've been messing around with, and have an easier means for folks to provide feedback and response to the stuff that we build, and just to start building a community out of folks that are obviously interested in what we got going on here. So it's I think that itself is going to be a good solution for me to be able to sustain this a little bit more. It'll be more administrative work on my end, but I'm already used to moderating Discord channels as it is, so I should be up for the task. It's just it'll be my home. I will be where the buck stops. I've traditionally, as a moderator, preferred to not be in charge because it allows me to step away when I need to take a break. But if I have my own Discord community, until it's large enough for me to have mods, then it's going to basically be it's me. I'm the mod. I am the arbiter. I am the manager. I will be the one that people yell at and blame if something goes awry. So I am attempting to back into or to slide into that space delicately. But that is on the imminent horizon. So any lurkers out there, if you want to check out, if you want to get notification of when that Discord goes live, follow me on Twitter at Phil Kearney, or like and subscribe here on YouTube, because I will start including the Discord link in my descriptions here. In the description down below, I'll start including, like, I have my Patreon link for people to check out early looks at stuff, Patreon, and then stay connected, stay current by following at Phil Kearney, and then I'll add a Discord link underneath that. Join our community, join the growing community on Discord, or whatever it is that we end up doing. Here, and then let's build this in. I'm sure this part is covered, yeah, but not as much as I thought. So this is actually a necessary step. There's a huge gap right there, so I need build this out proper. I'm glad we're here. This is a good space to be in. Yeah, that last ship diagram I finished last night, and boy oh boy, there was a notable release inside of my body, because I've been working on the front 80 pages of this 106-page book for literally a year. And no one gives a shit about how long it takes to build something or how much effort you put into it. The only thing that people actually care about is how useful is it to them? You could spend 20 years building something, but if it's garbage, no one's going to give a crap. But I think the very, 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 very slow cook style of development and creation that I have is serving me well. It allows like I can't imagine spitting out a game, like spitting out an entire role-playing game like in 6 months. That sounds fucking insane to me. Like there's no way I would be content with the level of quality of something that could be produced so quickly. So it's even with my understanding of how mechanics work and how D&D works, and having been an avid gamer for 30 some odd years, it's still like I would want to slow cook the hell out of anything to guarantee that I know it's going to work as intended and that I can stand behind the decisions that are made. So there's a controversial choice that I made with squadron mechanics in this book as well that I will be looking at and talking about on Saturday while we are finishing those page layouts. That's what I'm doing this Saturday, page layouts for the last few diagrams in the document here. I showed that off at the beginning of the stream. For anyone that's stepping in here or skipping around and catch wind of this, if you go back to the beginning of the stream, like 5 minutes into it, I'm looking at some of the ship diagrams that I created. Yeah, so you can see how that is. But we'll flesh those out and complete those pages this Saturday. And probably start up another illustration. There's my symmetry. Still feeling a little thick over here, but boy. Let's do that. There's something wonky about my mouse right now. You still lining up okay here, buddy? That hits right. 4. And then 5. That hits the knee right. 6, 7. Okay, so you're the right height. Let's go down here. Free transform. Let's see what happens if I skew his stance just a touch. Yeah, that feels good. So, I think the fact that you get to choose the art is usual. Yeah, right? I am my own AI. It's just a very, very slow analog process. Most creators can't make their own art, so I know I have. That's an interesting detail. Certainly a point of promotion. like I said, in a world that is continuing to have computers simulate and duplicate content, authenticity and sincerity becomes a commodity. Let's merge these down. Keep cooking. I debate. Some would say, you're right. Woof! I can feel myself wanting to dive down the business rabbit hole again. I'll try to curb. I'll try to curb that tendency, and let's get this gun out of the way, and just simplify it to say what I'm attempting to do with this stream is I'm not only trying to produce and sell well, I had it. It disappeared. There's creating the documents as a product to sell, but what I really want to do is build the community and make the process like this. The process itself is the product, and the collateral benefit, or almost like the result of the effort is a book that people can use for their games. You know. Like the exploration during the creation of the stuff, I think is ultimately in the long term going to be a larger aspect of what this community or channel grows into, versus just the books, you know, which is kind of calculated. What I notice about YouTube channels is like someone has a good idea and then they explode, so they put out a bunch of good ideas. And then they decide to get into content creation. And that content creation was never a core part of what their intention was online. It's just, oh, I'm popular enough and now I can do some books. And then they sell because they're popular, regardless of whether they're actually good books or not. It's just people like the person. So they end up selling people support people they like by giving them money. And if they get something in return, then they're motivated to enjoy what that thing is because their identity is tied in with, I like this person, so I'm going to buy their stuff, and now I need to defend their stuff because this is a person I like. I'd rather build a channel and a whole community network, whatever it is that it is. I'd rather build my community around, we build books that are good, and we find each other because we're all looking for good solutions. Like I think that's a more I think it's more sustainable, but I also think it's more sincere and higher quality of end results of what we're trying to do, which is build good books, you know. And that is absolutely punching up and a knock on anyone out there that never, like, I can respect getting into design, but why are you getting into design? Because you can sell this stuff? I don't know. I'm gonna stop punching up. But that's the stuff that rattles around in my head. Like, I'm pretty confident I'm never going to stop painting, and I'm always going to want to paint on stream like this because it's fun, and the stream helps me get through the grind and the monotony of the process, because it is exhausting. It takes a lot of energy to produce a piece that takes God knows how many hours to produce. It's like, at what point do I want to bail on this? It's like, well, if I'm going to be streaming every day and I need to show my work and my progress, then that puts that pressure of performance that wouldn't otherwise be there for personal projects. And again, sincerity, I think having a 40-hour painting sped up 200 times, so it's a 5-minute from beginning to end while whoever it is talking about maybe something relevant to the picture, maybe not. But I think there's a misconception from young producers, young content producers, or young artists. What time is it? It's 7:30. I still have 20 minutes. That they see these speed up processes, and they don't see, they can't feel the slow grind, the meticulousness, the frustration, the mistakes, the corrections, the ultimate giving up, or actually feeling like a piece is complete and then signing off on it. Like that process in these 200 times speed up productions, that process just disappears. And so there's this false sense of I should be able to create this thing quick and easy and have high quality. It's like, no, you're missing it. But that just folds into that attitude of immediate gratification, of I see this thing exists, why can't I have it now? And a lack of understanding that you really have to break your ass to get to a point where whatever it is that you're producing is recognized as quality. Like, you have to put in hundreds of hours of work into projects to potentially gain any reputation, reliability, whatever term it is that you want to use. I am literally going through that process right here, right now. The need behind the need, the super hidden goal that I have that I will share is I want, of course I want, everyone wants to have a successful YouTube channel, right? Of a community that supports you, that helps you do things, that lets me focus my time, my 40-hour-a-week job into doing this stuff instead of the actual day job that I have. But the super hidden goal behind building my channel this way is that this will help potentially mitigate any risk of me self-destructing due to overgrowth and like if I were to somehow become viral and explode in growth, which could potentially happen in the next 3 years, right? You don't know when someone's going to pop off. But if that person isn't psychologically and emotionally prepared to pop off, then they can end up alienating people that were helping them grow, lose sight of the bigger picture, or lose their humility. And so I think if I build a channel this way, where the focus is primarily on production and the slow grind of art, and demonstrating that yielding to the process and the humility of not being in control, ultimately, of what happens, that I am as much a passenger as everyone else, and demonstrating that on a daily basis. I think that if this channel grows to the magnitude that would allow me to step away from my job, it'll be something that I can sustain, because I'm not going to self-destruct. That it won't outgrow my own maturity online, you know, if that makes any sense. I'm going to do a deep cut here and see if I'm going to duplicate this layer, and then I'm going to do a deep cut. Get out of here. Cut. No. Oh, my shift button is frozen. There we go. Cut, paste, and then pull this in a bit. There we go. I'll never run out of content. I just start another painting, and then I just talk about whatever I want to talk about while the painting happens. And if the conversation is good enough, I can extract it as a standalone thing. But there's always the art. Always can fall back on the art. I have infinite content as a YouTube channel because all I do is create artwork, and then I build books to put the artwork in. Like it's a pretty safe environment for me to be able to just to cook. It's my kitchen. We're in my kitchen. This is my kitchen. I am cooking. Sometimes I feel like I talk about business too much. But this is all part of the process. Yeah, that feels pretty good. So I want a chance to yellow highlight over here off of the Eldritch Cannon that's next door. So, hey Spencer, how are you? Oh? Welcome to the mix, my guy. What's up? You are like Tolkien away, except for instead of language and culture, you make art. Yeah, thank you. That's a fucking fat compliment. Jesus. Let's see if I can earn that. Spencer, my guy, what's going on? I am certain, Spencer, that I've hung out with you some online. But forgive me that specifics elude. Spencer, I feel like we were involved in a project together. Like, maybe the Forgotten Realms book? I don't remember, because I'm horrible. Because I'm a horrible person. So I don't remember shit. Let's get that curve in there. That feels pretty good. And I don't have to worry about his other arm because the harpoon flinger is in the way. Let's push that down. We can start doing some of this cloth draped tabard. I think that's what it's called, a tabard. Actually be kind of like that. I do need the flinger in here, so I need to see. Actually, I need to clean up this edge here. Tidy up, keep my beach clean. Stitched. Back on point. O? Spencer with a random O, and then disappears. Oh. There to resolve. Good. Here. So let's get the flinger out of the way again. I need to work on symmetry. I got less than 10 minutes left for today. 6 minutes. The computer gives me 6 minutes left. So what'll happen is we will come back tomorrow and probably finish this dude up. We're getting close. So, I mean, I'm running out of content to fuck around with. So it's been a hard grind, but we're getting this guy figured out. So we'll finish him up. There's a decent chance that we're going to do the actual weapons off screen over the weekend, depending on what my time allows me to do. Tonight I'll be back in approximately probably like in 11 and a half hours. I'm typically on by like 7:30. I'm going to try to be on in at 7 here in Seattle. So that'll be 11 hours from now. Yeah, I'm gonna try to be on in 11 hours from now for maybe like an hour or two to kick out some more Eberron creature token art, and then tomorrow morning, like I said, we'll be back working on this some more. Saturday, we're going to do some graphic element design work here in the document, so you guys can see what that looks like and how I integrate page layout and artwork, like how I integrate those two pieces of production together, so you can see how that plays out. It'll be a lot of fun. I'll be putting text on the Word document and scooting it around to fit into position with the images that we created. So we're doing some document text shifting. That'll be fun. And if I finish that efficiently, then we'll start on another painting in the random system generator appendix, building planets and stuff. So that'll be my Saturday. And then on Monday we'll start. We have 3 more ship combat illustrations to finish after this one. So we'll start in on the next one there on Monday. I'm going to have this, and if this one isn't finished by Monday, I'm just going to finish it off stream, because there's only like no one's going to give a crap about like the background detail here, stars and stuff. I've done that enough times that I don't think that's going to be particularly interesting content for anybody. Tomorrow at lunch, we're going to continue playing with the martial power system. I think I'm going to start building 3rd level sample characters, or like a roster for the playtest. I'm going to encourage people to come to the table with their own character using the martial power system and the mechanics that we have for that. But I also want to have a stack of default characters for those that just want to throw some dice around and fuck around with the idea without hard committing themselves to the time and effort of learning how to do it themselves. We'll go through that process here on screen. So I think that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. I'm not 100%, but that's what the energy is feeling like to me. Yeah, I need to have this edge here. Like that. Hey, Ked, I'm just about to head out. So I'm here for, yeah, I've got like less than a minute left on my phone. So, Ked, it's nice to see you. Thanks for the drive-by. Zona, thanks for hanging out with me and talking smack. Spencer, thanks for kicking through. It's good to see you again. I think you were hanging out with me on stream like maybe 5 months ago, I think is when you were hanging around. And I know that we've kicked around on DMsGuild a bit. So, thanks. It was good seeing you again. Anyone else that's out there lurking, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Follow me on Twitter at Phil Kearney, at Phil Kearney, at Phil Kearney. Phil Kearney's everything. Phil Kearney. Hi. But yeah, that's where that's at. So yeah, we'll just keep on. We're just gonna keep on keeping on. I'll see you guys. I'll be back in approximately 11 hours to do creature token art. So I'll see you guys then. Laters.